You're listening to the podcast for grain merchandisers by grain merchandisers. Join us in our good-humored attempt to serve as a voice of reason in an industry fraught with misconceptions and half-truths. And now, from deep in America's heartland, this is The Elevator's Cut.
Welcome back to another episode of The Elevator's Cut. I am one of your hosts, Jason Wheeler, and this is your other host, Roger Gaddis. He is looking great, looking cool today. It's hot out, so got to dress cool. And but Roger always dresses cool.
Can I talk now?
Cool guy. Go ahead.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to get knock
Whatever you said,
intros
yes.
out. All right.
And you're dressing popping today. Popping of corn.
Yeah, Roger was trying to get a yield estimate from counting the rows on my shirt before.
I can see it's like, 28 length and maybe 18 around.
Yeah.
So it's probably basically 400 bushel corn.
It's good.
Unless you're talking to your landlord, then it's 20 bushel corn.
Or Twitter. It's a disaster out here.
Can you believe it?
Take a picture of that low
Now,
spot
is
in
this
your
field
field.
corn or sweet corn, Jason?
So I think it's too yellow to be sweet corn. But I don't know. You're the judge of those sort of things if you want.
Which gets a better price? That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's like hard wheat and soft wheat.
That's exactly right.
Same deal. What is it? Well, don't worry about it. Why don't you just give me them bids?
Bite on it and see what you think it is.
Well, welcome back once again to the show. We're glad you tuned in on your radio dial. There's a lot of shows you could be listening to.
You may not be glad, but we're glad.
That are aired at the same time as this one. But here you are. And I like to think, Roger, that people tune in to this show because they don't have to listen to ads. Right?
Sure.
I mean, all these other podcasts have ads. So at the beginning, you're like hitting that skip 15 seconds or
a minute, 2 minutes.
Whatever, at a time.
We reached out to the people that sell the mattresses in a box, and they weren't interested.
Yeah.
But we weren't interested in their product either, so fair play.
Yeah. I like unboxing those. Those are fun. They explode everywhere. But after that, it's like, it's just a regular mattress. I guess we can't be that excited
regular,
about
terrible mattress. It's been in a box.
But, hey. That said, some of the things I say for the end of the show, Roger said I should put at the beginning of the show as well.
Force people to listen to them to get through.
It helps.
To the good stuff.
Yeah. It helps. No, we have hats. We don't have a bunch of swag in this show. We don't sell any products on this show. For a while there, we did fake ads that were fun.
We've talked about doing those, but it requires labor.
Thought and...
Yeah. We're not about that. So
we used to be funnier than we are now. So
if you've been listening any length of time, it was like a hockey stick at first, and then it's just completely dropped off since. So
yeah, there's probably people that do technical analysis that could describe it perfectly about dead cats and head shoulders.
The flaming cross a long time ago.
Oh, I'm not going to touch that one.
We hit all the up-down resistance. Supports.
Yeah, we hit our resistance early, years ago. But anyways, I say all that. We do have hats, elevator cut hats, and the elevator's cut
podcast
hats, and they're great. I've worn one before.
There's one right there.
There's one up there. I don't know if you guys can see it up there. I can't reach it. This table, but Randy I swear, Randy grows this table by 4 inches every show. Seems like it. It seems like they're so far away. No comment.
They had nothing put to that.
But anyways, so we have these hats. We'll send them to you. We're not trying to make money off of them. We're not charging anybody for them. But hey, you want to?
It's a tax write-off, right?
Probably for somebody. Not me. It's you let the accountants figure that out.
That's
it's
right.
like merchandising. You just do it. The accountants will figure it out in the end. They'll probably yell at you along the way, but
hey,
eventually,
it's their problem, right? They're the ones that are getting paid to figure this out.
Yeah,
you don't have to help
job.
them. Don't help them.
Yeah,
make them learn it.
Yeah, we're just out here, helping people.
Except accountants.
And then the accountants want to, pee in our Cheerios every morning. It's like, just quit, man. But no disrespect to you CPA types out there, like Jeff Reardon, one of our
He's
most
going to be
popular,
on soon, right?
one of our most popular guests. He's a accountant. He comes on and tells us we're jerks for saying stuff like that. So we are jerks. So no. Anyway,
Speak for yourself, Jerkules.
as far as the hats go, though, if you'd like a hat, reach out to us, DM us, but mostly just send us one of your hats from your elevator.
But they don't even know where to send to.
You just, get it to
We
Kansas
tell people
City.
this, but they don't know what to put
Listen,
it to.
you DM us on Twitter or X
that's
if you'd
okay.
like. And we'll set up an exchange. You send us your hat, we'll
Jason will wear it
send
on,
you a hat.
on air.
I'll wear it on
probably.
the show. Roger will wear it on the air if it's nice enough.
Maybe.
Roger's got high standards. Not me. But anyways, we have set up, so since the last podcast, which hadn't been out long since that came out until when we were recording this. But anyways, Rough Brothers, those guys, they have new hats that are super sweet and we're very jealous of, that are better quality hats than we have. But, maybe we'll get there one day. And anyways, so I sent them some, and there are some.
I mean, you got DU to send you a hat. That's incredible.
Right. This is from Commodity Classic a year or two ago, and I found it in my Boxo hats that this morning. I didn't realize I had this.
So did you walk up to the booth like, tell me what you guys are all about?
No. Here's how I do it, man. Listen.
See, you guys got ducks in here.
Listen, when you've been in the business as long as I have, Roger.
Do ducks now? Ducks must eat a lot of rice because they're always in Arkansas.
They
right?
do. So that's my thing is so the USA Rice Federation, which I'm part of and promote, as Roger knows.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you to promote rice milk for years now.
Yeah, so I do have 8 gallons in my fridge, but. I go up to those guys and I say, hey, we appreciate you guys and all you do for USA Rice because they sponsor a lot of stuff with USA Rice and back and forth. And anyways, excellent group that we've known for the year. So, I walk up, chat them up, and then they say, it's towards the end of the show. And they're like, we got a bunch of extra stuff if you want it. And I'm like, well.
I'm your mule, not to have to carry this stuff back to the Delta.
Yeah, absolutely. Will you take some of our hats? We'll take yours. So.
Be it a DU aficionado, as you are apparently, have you ever submitted a painting of your dog to be on the DU T-shirt?
No, I haven't.
Is
that something you should do?
That's the thing at the University of Arkansas. That was a point of pride. If your dog got put on the DU shirt, you're like king of DU for the year.
Okay. Does it have to be a certain breed or?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with even have to do with hunting. I've seen people with chihuahuas on there. It's incredible.
Chihuahuas?
Yeah.
No.
I think. I mean, I don't know a lot about dogs,
qualify.
But they were a dark colored. I assume it was a chihuahua. It's like the Taco Bell dog. Yo quiero ducko.
There you go. But anyways, good outfit and they got good hats. I wore a hat of theirs today. And we're waiting on the Rough Brothers hats, which are in transit right now. We're going to wear those soon. But if you don't have a hat but you want one of our hats, let us know.
Who doesn't have a hat?
And give us
Everybody's got a hat.
No, a Elevator's Cut hat.
No.
We'd love to send it to you, but just like give us a topic idea for the show or ask us a question or tell us how stupid we were in one of the other episodes
There's
about
a hat.
something.
Please stop.
Do you guys not
That's all
know
I need
any
to
better?
kill this thing.
Please stop ever. Please send me a hat for this constructive criticism. I'm telling you guys to quit for the love of everything. Please stop. So there you go. There's our little nugget there that we usually put at the end. That's what we put at the beginning. Hope you guys enjoyed that. But we shall move on, Roger, because we have pressing things to discuss today, as always. So Roger tells me, first of all, I will say, as we're deciding topics for the show, I'm always pitching stuff to Roger, and he's just swatting it down. Says we can't talk about that, or we've talked about that so much, we need to stop talking about it. And so today, he did a lot of that. But so I appreciate that for your. You just sit up in your tower and naysay.
Yeah, that's the paid position I find myself in.
That's good. And anyways, so we have a term which Roger says, I think maybe I came to about commodity casuals.
Yeah, what does that mean? You've said that.
We've
You
talked
talk
about in the
the
past, you know.
the oil market stuff, right? Because of some social media posts. And I just needed some explanation on this.
Yeah.
I didn't know if this was like teenager slang you're picking up from your children these days, or if this is like Facebook GMD stuff. I don't know what this means.
So maybe I need to trademark this.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know, or maybe I've seen it 87 times and I just think I've thought of it myself. I don't know. I can't remember the
You
exact.
just put the little TM mark at the end of it.
But
and
anyways,
yours.
yeah, we've talked about how the people who all of a sudden are following oil markets because we got a conflict,
and you're
oil's
talking
doing
about
things.
social media people, just
the
like
population
the Reddit
at large,
peoples, right?
the people who think their food comes from
They
the
have
grocery
Robin
store.
Hood accounts.
Yeah. And
Polymarket Bros.
yeah,
Is that a
exactly.
thing?
Yeah,
Kalshi or Kalshi? Which is it?
Kalshi. Maybe. I mean, like kimchi.
Sounds like a Korean food stuff.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, we digress because that's what we do. We should change the name to We Digress because that's all we do. So, all right, the commodity casuals, and we've talked about it in the past, like the people that are now following the oil market and saying, "Oh, this, that, and the other." I can't believe the market's not right, and
It's
obviously
wrong? It's broken.
Yeah, the markets are broken.
Okay.
The
I'm
markets
picking up what you're laying
haven't
down.
found out what's happened yet.
I know
or
what's
something.
happened, but they haven't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when does the market pick up this tweet? It was like, well, we found out that the teleprompter man already picked up the tweet. But, who knows? But
Is it because algorithms work so fast that people just can't fathom it?
yeah. And we've talked about it 4 years ago on this podcast about how they build towers so tall to compensate for the curvature of the earth. They wouldn't spend all that money if the earth was flat. I'll tell you that.
That's a good point.
But they do it. And
Unless it's just for a tax write-off. That's what businesses do. That's all they do.
so anyways, the latest thing in my commodity casual corner of this
Little
episode,
CCC.
the commodity casuals have discovered now what it costs to produce a barrel of oil.
Tell me more. I don't know much about oil.
I mean, it comes from the ground.
Okay.
And then you got to step 2's question mark, step 3 is gas or diesel somehow. And
now, is this the sweet crude or the sour crude I hear so much about?
Yeah, just different. Maybe different parts of the world have different types of oil.
Different parts of your tongue tell the difference.
Better
Taste
for
buds.
different things. Some make crackers, some make bread. I don't know, stuff like that. And anyways, so our newfound commodity friends following the oil market have discovered that it costs whatever amount, and I don't know. It's like in the Middle East, it costs them to get it out of the ground and into a barrel and shipped out. It costs at minimum $40. And in America, it costs $55. I don't know if these numbers are right, but like $55. And
Per
so
barrel.
Yeah, so they're looking at we got to get oil prices down, and then people are like, you know what? If we get it too low, then they won't be able to produce it. And I'm like,
oh, really?
This is news to me.
That's how that works?
Because I know about commodities that people produce for well under what the costs are regularly, actually. And
that's the rule rather than the exception.
But here's the difference, Roger.
Okay.
This is what you probably...
It's liquid.
This is something you probably don't know, but that's why I'm here, help you out.
I need it.
So when we're talking about corn and beans and stuff and what it costs to produce, that's our food, Roger. We have to have food. So they're going to make it regardless.
Wait, are you telling me you eat ethanol?
And listen, the government is going to make sure we have food. So they're going to subsidize it.
Okay.
So energy, of course, is not important at all to daily life. So the government will not do anything about that. So
big news.
The government wants cheap food, and they don't care at all about energy prices.
This is why we store oil underground in Louisiana, but not grain. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
Not strategic.
Hey, what
corn
stage of the
reserves.
process is it of petroleum, Roger?
The second?
Okay.
Maybe third. I don't know.
Oil, petroleum, gas.
I don't know if I have enough time to get through all the
I don't
numbers.
know. And then there's like offshore things that happen.
That's where you hide money.
Yeah. I mean, there's refineries, I should say. They refine it. So,
okay.
So that
you're telling me
that
this is
implies
the
to
first
me-
time I'm hearing any of
That
this.
implies to me it was fine at one point. They make it unfine, and then they make it fine
Refine.
again. Yep. Boy, that was brutal. Okay,
Steps.
but anyways, this is my favorite thing of the people in the oil, watching the oil market now, is that they think we can't have prices get too low. That's what they're worried about. Now, a fine colleague of ours by the name of Tracy Hinkle asked when we should let them know that the oil prices actually went negative a few years ago.
We should let them know when it does it again.
Well, he can't go below $40 because that's what it costs to do it. I'm like, okay.
But you know what?
It was negative.
There
like
are
literally
ways
below zero.
You can put your money where your mouth is on those things, old buddy.
Yeah.
If they want, there's so many ways they can exercise their opinion in the form of money losses.
Hey, if you got a strong opinion, man, put some money behind it and try it out. And you know what? If you're worried about like, man, I don't know, risking a bunch, you know what's even better? Puts and calls. You can do that
puts
without
and calls. You're talking about Polymarket.
Okay.
That's
Is that on Polymarket?
Right? No, that's essentially what those are, right? When you track the price of corn on Kalshi or kimchi, whatever, and then those are basically puts and calls, right? And they're like, corn should do this. Well, that's what I think puts and calls do, right?
I don't know, Roger. I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I see commercials on TV
Oh, okay.
because too cheap to buy the non-commercial versions of all the streaming apps. So I see these things. I know about all of the pharmaceuticals that boomers are taking currently and the betting apps. That's what I know about.
Yeah.
And when I say about, I mean I'm familiar with their logos
Yeah. Well, good.
and their theme songs, especially the medicines.
The medicines
When your
is
knees are
wild.
aching, come eat some bacon. I don't know.
Boom, tough acting to acting. That's what I know.
John Madden knew.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the good old days when they were just selling over-the-counter drugs on commercials. Now
Got
it's
some jock itch. Here's some cream for that.
Now it's like,
you
ask your
can't
doctor about
pronounce the
this.
name of the thing, and you're going to ask a doctor, and he probably hasn't even heard of it yet. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw it on daytime TV." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I'll call them up, see what kind of trips they'll give me.
They're right,
We'll be-
yeah. So this
we'll
is
be
get
in
a hold
there.
of this rep and see what's going on here. Mm-hmm. I saw that Matthew Broderick opioid movie. I know how this works.
Funny thing, side note,
This whole thing's been a side note.
my teenage children, they are fun and they teach me about
Words and slang.
Words and slang. But their thing now is they talk about, and this may just be their friend group or whatever, but they talk about all these drugs that they hear about on TV all the time, and they're like, they don't know what they are or what they do. They just think it's funny, but the names, like you were saying, are like so weird, off the wall things. And I'm sure there's some like chemical compound behind it that they're, transcribing from that. And anyways, so
There's definitely some of that involved.
yeah. So anyways, they say every drug title is a potential baby name. So yeah.
Wegovy Jr.
Yeah. Like Wegovy, Caplita, that's our, that'd be a great
Now
girl's
that
name.
does sound like a name
Right?
from Arkansas, honestly.
Yeah. Caplita, that's a good girl's name.
That would be two capital letters, a C and an L. Caplita. That's great.
Semaglutide.
Like Joanna.
I don't know.
We've talked about this before. We're pretty sure that there's one group of workers in the workplace that are responsible for both pharmaceutical names and grain contract names.
Oh, yeah.
And when they leave one branch of naming inanity, they go to the other.
I would say instead of grain contract names, I would say like merged co-op names.
That too. That's definitely one of them.
Go to the Greek to figure those out. But sometimes that's what you got to do. Okay. I'm glad we've had this time. I hope everybody's enjoyed
There's no way they have.
the time. And I'm sure you've all turned it off by now. But if you haven't turned off the show by now,
You only got 20 minutes left.
Congratulations.
You made it to the halfway point.
We're going to talk about the grain business.
Okay.
We may as well.
Get
So,
in the
Roger, this is something that I was able to slip past the goalie, if you will, you being the goalie, of topics to get into the show today. And it is about what different buyers, everybody plays a different game. We talked about that
yes.
on the show before. But a lot of grain buyers, sometimes very aggressive, sometimes not aggressive, sometimes have different weird policies, some don't. Everybody's a little different. And maybe that's because they have different goals. Maybe they have different, I would say, education levels about certain things.
For sure.
But yeah.
Or understanding, comprehension. Maybe that's a word.
Yeah.
Comprehension.
So why do we see the difference in the ways people buy grain or
I'll tell you why,
intensity
Jason.
with which they buy
People
grain?
are playing different games.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So, grain buyers, that's elevators, end users, resellers, what have you. Whoever buys grain. You could say primary buyers maybe.
Deer
Who have
hunters.
to pay the the checkoff dollars, those people. But no, grain buyers in general. And any given market, you're going to have a mix. You're going to have some end users. You're going to have country elevators of any size. You're going to have resellers, direct shippers, cross-country trailers, whatever you want to call them. And it's interesting. I think what happens is you've got a fixed geography, and even for a fixed time frame in that geography. So delivery in this place for this month. So that is the constant thing throughout. And the prices are going to be fairly similar through that. Now, I think when people, sellers, look at these prices that are out there, the price that local elevators paying, the price that the end user's paying, the price that the reseller's paying to go into the end user or what have you, they're similar. They're not always the same, but they're pretty similar, especially when you look at several country elevators in a market or several end users. They're going to be bidding the same or fairly close to the same. So the idea is the price mechanism seems to indicate everyone's playing the same game because the prices are roughly the same.
Everybody's buying the same
It
corn.
seems right. They're buying the same
corn.
thing for the same time frame, roughly the same price. Everybody's playing the same game. That's what it appears to be, but that's not true. Mm-hmm. And where you see this come out is when, certain times of the year, there might be a country elevator that's got a bid delivered to their location, and it's almost as good as what the end user's bidding delivered there, which is kind of crazy because an elevator buys and sells the same thing, and an end user buys one thing, sells a different thing. It turns it in magically into some other product. So there's a value add there that usually implies a higher price paid for the commodity. And then there's sometimes where the end user is paying way under what the elevator's paying to go into the said end user or through a reseller or whatever. So then it kind of comes like, well, wait, how can this be? How can the elevator pay me to go to the end user 20 cents higher than what the end user is bidding? It doesn't make any sense. How is that? And so people will sometimes detrimentally try to, look the gift horse in the mouth and figure out, well, how is this? You can't be doing this. And then, they call the end user and you're chewing them up and down because this thing's happening. And it's just... So there is different games being played. Maybe this elevator's got to sell. They got to get covered in 2 days, and they'll pay whatever it is to get it out here and not have to eat the futures roll that's about to happen. Or penalties in the contract for late delivery, so they're bidding up even though this other place is backed off. That's just one instance, but you got all of these different games being played. Resellers, when it comes to resellers,
oh, big time.
They can put on a sell, and maybe they have to put a big volume sell together to get a certain basis from an end user. Well, maybe that's more than what their internal parameter said they can be, short at any given time. So that that reseller is going to go and try to buy the rest of that in at whatever it takes to get it done. So he's in compliance with his higher ups on his position. He's going to take care of his baby over here and try to make the best margin he can on it. But all this other stuff, he's just got to get covered, so he's in compliance. So again, this happens sometimes. Elevators, why is he bidding this? Maybe it doesn't matter. It's it's kind of the old saying: if you're happy being happy, just be happy. If it makes money, Just sell it and be done with it. You don't have to worry about what's going into it, all the time like that. But on the cusp of it, when someone's just looking on the web and seeing all these bids out there that seem to be the same, and guess what? When you have website posted bids, they're probably going to be very similar. That doesn't mean that's exactly what's being paid. That's why usually in fine print underneath it says call to verify with merchandiser or whatever. That's just the baseline. But there's definitely different numbers at trade. This goes true for elevators or end users, depending on what they need, right? Depending on what game's being played.
Yeah.
So if, like right now in the summertime, throwing for new crop bids, pretty much everybody's going to be the same thing for harvest delivery bids. More than likely, they're really close to it.
Within a freight difference.
Yeah. But when you get into harvest, well, if this elevator's getting full before this one, they're going to back their bid off first, more than likely. If this end user's got all they bought, all they need now, they're going to maybe go no bid until October or what have you. So that's when you get into the spot market, it becomes very apparent that different games are being played, more so than, out ahead of time.
Yeah.
I guess. So that's kind of tough for some people to see, specifically on the producer side. And, everybody was bidding the same, last month for now. Now everybody's different. What's going on? Well, lots of things have happened, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, your bid's a communication to the market at large or to whoever you're buying from, like how bad I want the grain.
Right.
And so I think like last week, I want to say, like I was looking at the bean bids in Kansas City versus St. Joe. And Kansas City, I think, was like 75 over. And St. Joe's, an hour up the road, is like 10 over. And that's like
somebody needs beans worse than somebody
Yeah.
else. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, that ain't right, Roger.
Well, I would argue it is right.
But there's a lot of things. I mean, and I don't know the intricacies of what was going on there, but obviously Cargill needed beans pretty bad in KC. So
AGP pays patronage and Cargill doesn't.
AGP pays patronage. But also, like, maybe if you called AGP, they just didn't want to post that number, but they're willing to pay a lot more. So you never know.
That's kind of the, not downside is not the best word, but that's kind of the gotcha of some of these programs and stuff that pull bids just off the web and compare them and stuff.
Right.
That's not always a full picture. That's just a number put out there to have a number out there. That's not always the thing that actually trades. Very rarely is it, I would honestly say. Maybe at the country elevator level it is. On the end user level, there's all kinds of numbers that get negotiated in deferred periods that are not the same as whatever the posted bid is.
Yeah. And I mean, I would argue, we've said this before, like, it's the most transparent business there is. Like, there's no secrets in the grain business. Everybody knows, like, yeah, such and such will pay this. And once they pay 30 cents above posted, like, people know, it gets out there. But if they do it in a big way, if they're actually looking for volume at it, I should say. But the thing that gets tricky is when maybe you have two places like that, and maybe you're just a grain elevator and there's a place down the road bidding a wild number, and you've got your number is 40 cents below it. And you're like, well, first of all, it's July. I don't want to buy beans right now. If I have to buy beans, market's insanely high. I'd have to find a place for it real quick and
turn around and hope I can get them done.
And I got stuff going on. Maybe I got half my staff on vacation till August. I don't know. I'm not trying to buy beans, so my bid's low. But the other things that can happen with that is, like, what if you got farmers who have beans on DP with you, and you're like, that's not the market. You should be paying the market, So you got to be careful with those posted bids to get them too silly. But because you want to communicate, like, I don't want beans, but also everybody wants to be fair to their farmer customers. So whereas some guys will just call you and say, hey, what the heck? Like, this guy's bidding such and such. And you're like, okay, yeah, and you'd make it happen. Whereas other guys may not call you. They just get mad.
Yeah.
So if we're just talking about elevator to elevator, so it's not like an end user. So maybe, some markets like your St. Louis, like you got exporters, you got crush, you got ethanol, you got, all sorts of, you got feed, you got whatever, all around there. And so some markets, if you're in a completely different business, of course, like, hey, right now the bean crush spread is stupid.
Insane.
So I'm not saying it is at this moment, but if it was, yeah, they're outbidding the river because we're having a terrafor or whatever's going on. And so that market's that has a lot more opportunity than another. So it makes sense, right? And then that can go the other way too. Like there's no crush margin in the export, there's a big demand in the export market, whatever it is. And so different stuff happens. But when you're looking at elevator versus elevator sometime, it's like, all right, those guys, they're all selling to similar markets. They're going to sell to whatever market's best. They're not doing a value add thing unless they're like a feed mill or have like something like that.
Turn it into something else.
They don't. So if it's just straight up elevator versus elevator, not only like are their bids can be different, but how they buy the grain can be like vastly different. And what would cause that? Like I got an elevator. If I go 15 miles east, I can deliver to this guy. I go 15 miles west, I can deliver to this guy. Like what could cause them to be so different in either their bid or how they're trying to pursue the grain?
It all comes from policies, though. I would say it all stems from policies. So the policies on how they can or can't buy grain, the ways they can or can't buy grain, what they charge to buy grain. So a good example, this was in, I think, Colorado at some point in the past. And so you had an elevator over here that had a bid for hard wheat. And they had a bid for, 14 Pro wheat. That was their bid. You bring in here, it's 14 Pro, and then they discount off of that down to whatever, 12 Pro or whatever it may be. Elevator over here, lower bid, but they were bidding ords for hard wheat. So, whatever the protein, but then as you got higher protein, they would add a premium to it. Buying the same product, they just framed it differently. Mm-hmm. So obviously this guy always got grief. Why aren't you bidding what they're bidding? It's like, well, figure their discount in where I'm at. And, let's get it apples to apples. Mm-hmm. Now, how did these two places that were no more than, 10 or 15 miles apart end up at that? I assume it's their respective boards made decisions on policies at some point in the past that reflected that. So it's just two different styles of buying. Same thing, but, the way they stack. And that might be an extreme example because you don't see that necessarily in a lot of other grains. But you do have that in other grains, depending on where you're at. Soft wheat country with feed wheat. In North Carolina, some places will bid the wheat crop as feed wheat every year, and if it's milling quality, they add a premium to it. Other places will bid milling quality, and lo and behold, the 3 out of 5 years it's junk, they'll bid as, discount it to feed wheat. So again, same ultimate destination, but the optics are different. So, you see that's out there.
Yeah. Well, you said an interesting thing there I wanted to ask you about. Maybe you don't want to discuss, but I'll ask you anyways.
I'll let you know.
You said their respective boards made policies years ago. Should boards make grain buying policies? Or if so, like how involved should a board be, like a co-op board?
A board is the ownership direct of the company. They do have some say on it. You hear this a lot, and you've heard this before. You've said this before. The board has to take off their farmer hat, put on their elevator hat when they go to make
cut hat if they want.
They go to make those decisions. They cannot make those decisions from a producer standpoint, which sounds really weird. What's a producer-run co-op? So of course, but they're doing it for the benefit of the elevator, the co-op, the elevator itself. That has to generate the profit to, I know maybe that's a bad word, but that has to generate the profit so that they can expand and grow and keep up and not have a 5,000 bushel an hour leg anymore. And, they've got to be able to compete and add money to the bottom line and bring
service
value.
Their farmers ultimately.
Yeah. The patronage is not the only value the co-op brings to their customers. It's all these other pieces that come into that.
Yeah.
So, yes, there is a part. Yes, there is a part, but it needs to be guided by the principles of elevator first. What's best for the return to bin space? That is, from there, going to help improve the outcomes of their patron producers.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I'm sure other people have other ideas on it, but if the elevator's not making money and can't make money because of policies, well, they're just going to be a target for acquisition or close up. I mean, in the long run, they're not going to be competitive. They're not going to bring return to their members, and there's going to be no value there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would argue a co-op board, like you said, they represent the ownership Do they need to know everything and make all these like
They don't need to
minutia
micromanage.
decisions,
No,
right?
no, don't hear me saying micromanage because I've been under the micromanagement part of a co-op board and it's terrible. No, it's not. But they're the ones that are going to get flack for it if the patronage, the people don't like it or whatever. They need to have some involvement. They don't need to be the ones actually coming up with it, but they need to be asking the questions. How does this reflect our values? How does this allow us to be profitable for us and our members? That's where they come into play. It's kind of a purview type thing as opposed to actually coming up with the stuff.
Right. I think the merchandiser management of the elevator, the day-to-day employees, create that sort of thing.
Yes.
And depending on your procedures at the co-op, maybe they're bringing that to the co-op, to the board, I should say, to get approval on it, final approval each year. If we're going to make some changes, here's what we project. And then, the board should be like, well, why are we changing this?
Right.
Why do we do this? And they should have a good explanation of why, like, hey, this helps our farmers because X, and this helps the elevator because Y, and so on.
Yeah. But if they've hired a merchandiser, they need to let the merchandiser do their job.
Correct.
And if they think the merchandiser is not doing a good job, they need to reach out to someone that can help them decide if that's true or not.
Yeah.
There's ways to do that because both things happen, but there's definitely, you can't say fully hands off, but for sure not micromanage. That's never great because that producer hat's going to get slipped back on at some point. And everybody in that room is going to be like, well, what if this was my bushel here? Would I want to pay this much DP fee, drop fee till D's 31? And what I want, most people are going to say no. If you had the choice to make the cost of doing what you want to do cheaper, you would do it. That's just human nature. Of course you would. You would vote for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, another thing on the different buyers playing different games, we all assume that a business, their game is making money. But we should not assume that to always be true. And I know people love to beat up on co-ops and they don't try to make money and everything. But there's a lot of private companies, there's a lot of co-ops that do try to make money and do their best to make money. There's a lot of private companies that do not prioritize it anyways if they do with the way they buy grain at times. So that is something. So what are their philosophies like? How do you see that? Well, not a proactive grain buying approach. Just like, we're here. People know we're here. They can see the bins out there. They'll sell us if they want to. But we better be careful ever saying anything to anybody and just be here to offer storage. That's what we're registered to do with the state, or whatever. And let's do it as cheap as we can and really try to help these guys. Because I hear this year's one of the worst ever, every single year. And it's just like, all right, but you realize you're having the worst year ever too every year, but yours, like, I can back up with numbers, whereas sometimes it's harder to do with the others. But that's the thing; there can be very non-proactive buying approaches, and then also like just we want to do as much storage as we can because it's cheaper, it's easier, and so they're looking for the easiest way out. The laziest way out. I hesitate to say like it's human nature,
path
but
of least resistance.
Yeah, path of least resistance.
I'm going to talk someone into this thing that then it changes and they jump on me and I'm not even dealing with it and I don't want the bookkeepers on me for margin calls and whatever it is. You see all the things. And it's usually at the detriment of the business, right?
Yeah. And then there's the other side of it that have like weird types of policies or contracts, and maybe they have originators that they're sending out and they're getting like a commission for doing certain types of contracts. And so they're pushing these contracts that when you look at like how they actually, when I buy the bushels off of that type of contract, generally how profitable are those bushels? Usually those are the lower profitability bushels, but since I've incentivized my originators a certain way, they're the ones we're getting a lot of. Even though they're not profitable, it's profitable for that individual originator, but it's not profitable for the co-op or company or whatever originating for.
Let's just put it as a bin. It's not profitable. It doesn't lead to a good return to the bin space. And like you said earlier, every market will determine through basis history, you can look it up, and spreads over time, what a bin is worth for holding any given commodity anywhere in the country, Canada, whatever. It has a value, and you can get pretty close to saying every year it's worth X cents per bushel to fill up this bin with corn or beans or oats or whatever. Maybe not oats. I have no idea. But all the, corn and beans and wheat for sure, that's a thing. It's a known thing.
It's
a zone. It's not I'm going to hit this exact number every year, but you have a range of like, if I get it bought at harvest and I take care of my spreads, the basis is going to reward me with this much, 6 months down the road, and this is the value I can capture to the return of that bin space. That is a knowable thing.
Correct.
Year in, year out.
Right. So I've been on the road the last couple of weeks here and there, and just bringing up those charts with people, just local stuff, and it's super simple. Even somebody that's not a basis trader, you can show like, hey, here's what it does every year, here to here, boom, boom, and we can, it's not the exact same every year. It's a little different, but you get a good idea of what it should be worth. And like with beans, for instance, you can realize it within the first 45, 60 days after harvest a lot of time. Those harvest bushels anyways. Yeah. So, and we've talked with Randy, and in future episodes, because we now have a video component of the podcast, we thought, why not use the video component for something useful other than having to see
Don't look at us anymore.
What hat I'm wearing,
Corn shirt.
What the heck is going on?
Let's look corn charts, not corn shirts.
Randy has assured us that not only is that possible, it's always been possible, and I can't believe we just now asked about it. So in future episodes, we are going to we'll put some basis charts on the screen and explain what we're talking about. And if you have the video capability,
it's always easier to see it in drawing than here.
Yeah.
But I will bring it back to what you said about specifically. We'll go to co-ops too, but again, this applies to anybody. So too often for farmers, they can. You tell them, hey, the bin space has got X amount of value a year, and it doesn't resonate necessarily with them because they're like, well, I put grain in here last year, Ben, and I actually lost money when I took it out. Or one year I made 3 times as much as you're talking about when I took it out. The extremes,
Yeah.
And that's true when you're not merchandising. Again, it's just you're sticking grain in a bin and just see what happens is not merchandising.
That's price speculating is what it is.
Twitter tells you. It's not. But for those that do merchandise, there is a known value out there every year in a range that you can expect to make. If the market is structured these types of spreads and we're having a normal crop, or if we're having a less than normal crop, then that changes a little bit. Or a huge crop, that changes somewhat. But you have a general idea of what your bin space is worth as a merchandiser for commodity in any given place. But again, for those that don't merchandise, it's hard for them to see because their history says, well, some years I don't make anything by sticking in the bin. Some years I make just a ton. So how can you tell me this is playing different games?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, the price speculation game is a very different game, and it's not what bins are for, really.
Well, not for a merchandiser.
Not for a merchandiser. So we will we'll talk more about that in future episodes and show you guys what we mean on the basis chart.
You're basically the Pablo Picasso of basis charts, so you can draw really nicely. I've seen it.
Well, we'll see when I'm doing it with my fingy on an iPad or whatever is happening. But so I don't want to overpromise,
underpromise, and overdeliver.
That's what we do. We're good at that.
Way under-delivering.
So, anyways, but that'll wrap it up. We're out of time for this episode. Randy's going to kick us out of here.
Well, we don't want to, if you start having some corn sweat happen over here, we don't need to be a part of that. So, we got to get out of here.
That's right. Get some gaff tape and tassel wrap it or whatever they do out here. So, anyways, that's it. Roger, have a wonderful summer as we wrap up the summer. This will be coming out early August. I hope it's not as hot as it's been the last week or so, but probably will be. It's August. So
true.
Get ready for harvest. It's coming soon. And get at us for hats.
Peace out.
As always, thanks for downloading and listening. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with folks you know in the business.
And if you'd like to reach out anytime about anything at all or have any show ideas, you can always find us on Twitter at The Elevators Cut. Follow us there, tweet at us, DM us, and we'll always respond. Till next time.
For Roger, I'm Jason.
And for Jason, I'm Roger.
Thanks for listening to The Elevators Cut.
Out.